Well, good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be another daily cryptocurrency market update. If you are new around here, every single day at 1 p.m. UK time, we release an update just like this one to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. And we do indeed have a website, allincrypto.com, that will help you guys stay up to date on more of a timely basis than perhaps these videos might. But we don't just cover the crypto space in these videos, we cover the broader markets, and we're going to be doing that in this video. We're going to be looking at the dollar, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, we're going to be looking at Brazilian stocks, precious metals, and a number of other things, but we're going to save that towards the end of the video. The end of the video is going to be quite technical. To start things off, we are going to look at ETFs, Bitcoin spot ETFs. We have two deadlines for Franklin Temple's Bitcoin ETF, Hashdex's ETF that are coming up today, and there's been no word on these so far. We'll see what the result is. I think it's more likely that they're going to wait to approve the larger ETFs or the ETFs that have been put forward by large asset managers like BlackRock. However, there is a chance that an ETF may get passed today. We're then going to be looking at Bitcoin as a movement, as a hedge. We're going to be playing a clip of an individual, the guy that wrote the Bitcoin standard, the Fiat standard, and I think he's got another book as well that I must get. I've heard nothing but good reviews on them, where he talks about Bitcoin as an inevitability. He talks about bad money, i.e. fiat currencies, being driven out by good money, i.e. Bitcoin. And I'm going to play that clip and exploring that on potentially more of a philosophical level with you guys, and your input is important. I want to know in the comment section what you think, and then we'll get into the sort of more technical side of things. So let's start things off with a look at some of the ETFs that are taking place today. And this was a tweet from James Seyfart. Hope I'm saying that right. I'm more than likely butchering it. Okay, we're nearing in on deadline dates for 3 spot Bitcoin ETF applications. I want to get ahead of it because there's a pretty good chance we'll see a delay. Orders from the SEC. Delays would not change anything about our view, and a 90% odd for 19B/4 approval by January the 10th. So a Bitcoin spot ETF, in our opinion, is absolutely inevitable. It's, in my opinion, also likely agreeing with James here that you aren't going to see these be the ETFs that are the ones to kick off the approvals for them all. I think it's more than likely going to be the likes of BlackRock with their iShares, or the likes of Grayscale, Valkyrie, some of these players that are likely to get their ETFs approved before the likes of these two individuals, i.e. Franklin Temple and Hashdex. And then, of course, you've got Global X, which is coming up, I believe, on Monday. So we are moving forwards. We'll see what happens with this. The next thing that I want to jump into is a clip from the individual that wrote the Bitcoin standard, actually talking about Bitcoin and really what it is and what's going on here, and the potential or the perhaps inevitability of it when you compare it against other fiats. In the sort of UK, for example, the Great British Pound is one of the stronger fiats. In America, of course, the dollar is the world reserve currency. We don't quite have that fire like other countries, like Turkey, for example, with their Turkish lira, or Argentina, or some of these other countries where their currencies really are a mess. And Bitcoin actually has been nothing short of a lifeboat for these. So we're going to get into that, and then we're going to get into some more technical stuff.
It's not optional. I mean, you will either move there, or you will watch your wealth lose its value as the people who put their money there appreciate. Just think about it. If you have $1 million and you put them in a currency that's constantly depreciating, where somebody has $10,000 and puts them in a currency that's constantly appreciating, it's only a matter of time until they overtake you. And people are not stupid. They will realize this, and they will want to move forward. So when I talk about Bitcoin adoption, people think of it as being like, say, Apple iPhone adoption. It's very nice and very cute, and then people will buy it. But I think that's not the model for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is more like gunpowder adoption. You know, if you think about it, did the French army have a choice whether they should adopt gunpowder or not? You know, did they decide, no, you know what, we like to keep it real with sticks and stones and swords, and we're not going to use gunpowder? If you know any army that decided to do this, it didn't matter, because then another army with gunpowder would come and take over France. So eventually, everywhere in the world ended up with gunpowder, either because people adopted it or because it was used against them. And I think Bitcoin is like that. Bitcoin is like financial gunpowder. It's the safest way of sending money halfway around the world, the most secure way, and it's the hardest money that we've ever invented. So it's not something that is, you know, whether we should or want to, or whether people, you know, we try to win people over. And this, you know, this is why my book is not marketing for Bitcoin, because I don't think marketing for Bitcoin matters. At the end of the day, this is economic reality. The harder money will win. You know, gold beats silver, and I discussed this in my book, not because you know, there was better marketing for gold or there was better propaganda for gold. It beat silver because of economic reality. Gold grew at a much slower rate than silver. The value of silver declined, and I think this is really the case with Bitcoin, I think, in the long run.
Fascinating clip there. I want to know your opinions on that in the comment section. You know, is Bitcoin driving out fiat currencies? I think in some areas it certainly is. In others, perhaps it's still to do so. And actually, we've always said Bitcoin, in some ways, it's either planned by the bad guys, or it's some sort of divine intervention and just one of those things in life where things come together perfectly. Bitcoin's arrival in 2008. What a visionary Satoshi was when it came to the fiat systems. You know, he clearly understood them very well. He, she, they, or whatever, whoever Satoshi was, or potentially still is. He clearly understood the fiat systems and the road that they were on. And if you look at how things have escalated in regards to money supply, in regards to debt issuance, in regards to everything from when Bitcoin was released, it's been nothing short of a success. And part of its success, or a large part of its success, has come to do with the fiat systems. And again, in a lot of the countries within the West, we don't quite see the sort of depreciation of our currency like other parts of the world. However, do we ever end up in that state? And we've often speculated that the next sort of crash is going to be a debt-based one. It's going to be a kind of clog up in the debt markets that likely only going to be solved by either a jubilee or a printing and thus devaluing of currencies. And actually, that's gold for Bitcoin. You know, gold is setting up to do very well also. Bitcoin, we believe, is also going to do very well over the next 12 months. Things are all aligning. So your thoughts on that would be great. Let's dive into a little bit of technicals. Bitcoin. So we did look at, and we have been looking at, Bitcoin potentially running into a little bit of, it may just be short-term resistance. And don't be too greedy on these pullbacks, guys. In a bear market, the pullbacks are the shorter side of the market, or the rallies are the shorter side of the market. In a bull market, the pullbacks are the shorter side of the market. So don't be too greedy. We did look at the fact that you've ran into very, very key levels for Bitcoin, historically very key levels. And actually also that aligns with the first bit of volume. So we did say you'd slip really through the 30 to 35 range very quickly due to the lack of volume and price action that we've seen. And you were going to run into a bit of a resistance area. It's very interesting that Bitcoin's at resistance at a point where the dollar perhaps is at support. You know, this is where it really broke out, in my opinion, round about here. Also historical price significance. It's consolidating around that 30 weekly moving average. We use the 30 weekly moving average in something called stage analysis. You know, we do think the dollar is on a broader downtrend that actually aligns with our macro view that we've had set out for a little while now. We weren't really looking at the dollar on any kind of broader time frame, but the dollar essentially could just be in a channel that it's now going to want to make its way to the downside of, up until it finds support here, and then we get that demand destructive event, which we also have been stating isn't going to come until after people think it will. So if you look at interest rates, historically, there's a real correlation between interest rates and them lagging, and the markets lagging and rallying with interest rates up until a crash occurs. And we think things are going to very much play out in a similar manner. And we're getting technical signals across the board. We're getting fundamental reasons, historical reasons to be bullish. And that's how we've really maintained a bullish stance this year. So the dollar running into a bit of support at a time when Bitcoin's at a point of resistance, you may get a little bit more softness for Bitcoin up until it sets up fixes itself, and then goes and sees that continuation. And whether that comes on ETF news or whatever it may be is still to be looked at. You've got the likes of Brazilian stocks looking to break out. You've also got the likes of gold doing very well and consolidating at that top end range, looking for that continuation. Very interesting with gold, and I think I looked at this on my Patreons. We've assessed this as a bit of a bull flag. You do have high volume profile on this, which is actually a good sign, and you can see where the price has recently reacted. So you've got people accumulating potentially, or shorts, but I'm going to say in this environment, it's more accumulation, piling in at the top here. So there's a lot of things that we're bullish on. Of course, the stock market, we've been very accurate on this year. Some of our stocks made new all-time high targets that we had, and are really looking to set up and see that continuation. You know, the market, this is a factor, the S&P will rally within 2% of its high 2 months prior to a recession. It will rally right the way up. 2 months prior to a recession, it will start seeing pricing of that come in. So Brazilian stocks look set. You know, let's take a look at the Russell, which is, I think, more interest rate sensitive than a lot of the smaller. What do we want? We can use the E-minis. You know, this potentially, and we'll get off the monthly chart. He's just in a bit of a range. You know, could that be the sort of final low for the Russell and it sets up? You've got lots of small stocks that we've been looking at. I think Roku was one. I've not seen this in a while. Did initially break out, and it's back to sort of where it's in. Bit of a head and shoulders forming there. We've got lots of stocks that we're looking at. Of course, Coinbase has been one that we've really championed. Yesterday, we saw the third largest pension fund in the world actually buy Coinbase. All the stars align for us, guys, and we are expecting continuation. So a word of warning, and we have seen it. You might see a little bit of softness on Bitcoin up until it picks its feet up again. For altcoins, what is that going to mean? That's going to mean turbulence. People really do forget the volatility in this space when it comes to altcoins. These altcoins can move 10% a day, which is very untraditional when you look at the stock market, unless it's around earnings and things like this. It's the nature of the beast. Accept it. Plan accordingly. Don't get too suckered into the red and green days. Focus on the bigger trend, which we have now assessed is an uptrend. The market in our assessment has broken out if we look at the total cryptocurrency market. And we've got a number of other external reasons to be bullish on the space. This is a broken out market, ladies and gentlemen, in our opinion. You may come back and get a retest. We've looked at things like others as well for when we're playing altcoins. But generally, our assessment on the markets has been absolutely spot on, and we expect things to continue in an upward direction based on multiple reasons, not just one. And that's really what I've got for you. So interesting clip there in regards to Bitcoin and people adopting it. Is it an inevitability? Is it driving out the fiat systems? We've certainly seen it do very well against the fiat systems thus far. I do think you are going to have the empire striking back at some point. And we'll see what happens with the ETF, the Hashdex and the Franklin Temple ETF deadlines. That's all I've got for you guys. If you enjoyed the content, like us, appreciate it as a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.